Greetings, peace and power to you all. Peace and power to you all. We're welcome to Seti Saturdays. Seti Saturdays, first show 2024. We hope and pray that your 2024 is wonderful and has started off well. We're looking forward to some wondrous events in 2024. We hope to see the increase of peace and power among the people, those of us who are striving to be within the confines of the natural, the spirit, that which is good, that which is reflective of positivity, that which is reflective of joy and hope and success. And so we welcome you again to Seti Saturdays. Please make sure you like, share, subscribe. We are broadcasting now from numerous channels. Our YouTube at Seti on YouTube. You can catch us there. On our Facebook group, Seti Inc. on Facebook. We're broadcasting to that. Of course, we still have our Instagram show, which will follow hereafter as a recap at taseti.inc. You should subscribe, like, and be in tune to all that we are doing this year as we are pushing forward with great determination to ensure that we keep our goal and stay on our mission of making as many people, as many of the masses, enlightened and educated about the wonders of technology, about the wonders of being empowered. And we probably really should add in another caveat to the things we list, because we have to start talking about global politics. If we're talking about economics, digital economics in particular, finance, etc., we have to add in the construct of politics, because we have to know that where money is flowing, political realities are taking place and manifesting. And in this world that we are living in, we are seeing more and more where, although we're given particular narratives about the separation of governments, meaning, this government against that one against this one, and all of this kind of stuff, they seem to be working in accord on certain things. So we want to stay in tune with what's going on with that. We want to know how is it that the movements of elites, the ultra wealthy, the ultra rich, and the organizations that they control, how does that interconnect with governmental realities? And where is it, in fact, that governments agree and seemingly are taking action that is going to affect you and I and our families and the masses of the people? And so this year, we want to make sure that we really fine tune some of that data and information. We hope that you find it encouraging as we're talking about solutions. We're not just talking about the challenges, issues, and problems, but we're offering solutions to these things to put us in a position. Our goal, as we say, we invent tomorrow today, is to teach, educate, train, and put us all in a position right now so that when these events start to materialize, you and I are not affected, or at least we're marginally affected instead of being overwhelmed with circumstances and situations that could literally destroy us. So let us, once again, as always, Seti Inc., we are management consultants, business advisors. We deal with digital economics, alternative finance in general, digital financial literacy, decentralized cryptocurrency investment. We certainly do things such as tax management strategies, business development, etc. We take care of all of that. We have 4 major pillars that we could umbrella our services under. Again, management consulting and strategic planning. You got to have a plan. 2024 is beginning of the year. You have to have a plan for your business, for your family, in terms of what you're trying to achieve. We help and have helped numerous organizations and businesses to align themselves properly to honor and garner their success. Wealth creation, wealth creation, and financial development. We talk a lot about that, of course, utilizing the technology of blockchain in the decentralized finance space. But there are numerous ways that we can harness the power of and resources of the various apparatuses that are all around us, that information is not readily being given out. So we do that. Number three, wealth management. This year in particular, 2024, some say, it's the Chinese year, the dragon. In numerology, it's a number 8 year. This has particular impact and position. Eight is the number of infinity. So it is above, so it is below. It is also the number of money and power. So there's a lot of energy flowing into this year, 2024. And we hope to tune into that energy, align ourselves with that energy to create wealth, right? But once we are creating wealth, the next phase of that is managing it properly so we get the best and the most out of it. Because in talking to many people, oftentimes people have made money over the years, but when they look, they don't see it. They can't find it. And it's because oftentimes we're not managing it properly. And lastly, wealth security. This too will be a major point of 2024, as again, we're seeing institutions and governments and all sorts of entities taking steps toward controlling the possibilities, or attempting to control the possibilities and take away from us, the masses, the people, as we're attempting now to rise and to grow and to have a benefit and abundance. There are forces that don't want that for us, because then they don't want to share the wealth and power, right? So we got to understand the dynamics of what's taking place really around the world in a global sense, and how all of this is beginning more and more to impact people, So once again, make sure you share, like, subscribe, get this information out. We do this broadcast in a big way simply because we want to educate people. We want people to be in alignment with the possibilities that are and the blessings, really, that are being given to us, because these events have never really happened before. We have not had a time in history where the masses, the common everyday man and woman, you could even say the poor, right, to a degree, right? But the poor, those who are not the elite, the ultra wealthy, where we have actually had the opportunity to be in front of the money, right? We're in front of the money to the extent where normally it is us chasing the money. It is us chasing the elite. It is us trying to do what they have done or they do. And in this case, in this sojourn, in this particular instance of time, because of the technology of blockchain, they are chasing us, because the people have been involved with the mechanisms of blockchain since 2009. People have been involved in it, learning about it, growing in it, participating in its many wondrous aspects. And yet the big money is now just catching on. So we want to talk a little bit about that and what that even means, now that the rich and the elite, the powerful, they want to get into the decentralized finance space. What is that really meaning? Again, this is our third part of our series. Why should you be in DeFi? Why should you be involved in decentralized finance? If you're not involved in decentralized finance, you should be. Now, that's my opinion, and I intend to help you understand why that opinion, I believe, is a fact. So I'm going to give you the facts as to what's going on and why you should be involved in decentralized finance. We here at Seti Inc. are here to help you get involved in numerous ways. There are many aspects, but education, first and foremost, is of the utmost importance, because it is coming to you, even if you're not going to it, right? The digital economics is coming to you, whether you do anything or not. You will be involved in digital economics, and you will be involved in digital economics because governments and organizations and institutions are making sure that you will be involved. The question is, will you have any power, knowledge, or capacity to still maintain your freedom, your control, your power? So let us look right now at what's going on. Now, many of us have heard about grayscale. A lot was going on last year with this one of the mega giants of investment in the world, grayscale, as they and many other companies like BlackRock are looking to and expecting that they will be given the green light to begin to operate with Bitcoin ETFs, right? And so again, these companies were not caring about decentralized finance or crypto. Many of these companies, these very companies that we're going to talk about today, just a few years ago, were vehemently speaking against decentralized finance and crypto. And yet today, everything has seemingly changed. And so, as the headline says in this news report, Grayscale wants JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs as partners, right? As participants in their Bitcoin ETF. What is this all about? Now, ironically, the president of JP Morgan, Jamie Dimon, just a couple of weeks ago went before Congress and literally said that they should wipe out the blockchain, they should wipe out Bitcoin, that is only for scammers and tax frauds and criminals and this kind of thing. And yet, JP Morgan is now potentially considering partnering with some of these same uh, um, mega investment corporations to be a part of this Bitcoin ETF. Now, this is what I really want us to understand, that in all of these things that we're seeing across the globe, we, you and I, the masses, must become more skillful in sifting through information. We must become more skillful in discerning the narratives that are being given to us, because it seems quite ambiguous, to say the least, that on one hand, the president of this major bank, one of the major banks on the planet, JP Morgan, comes out and speaks very disparagingly against um, cryptocurrencies and decentralized finance. And then on the other hand, they turn right around and they're in talks and negotiations about getting involved in a Bitcoin ETF. Doesn't that seem a bit strange to you? It should, right? And it should also alert us to the fact that we should, number one, understand that none of these people care about you and I, really, right? And I'm saying that with a grain of salt because I don't know these people personally and I don't know who cares about what, but I do know what I see in their actions. So we can look at people's actions and we can begin to understand what's really going on, right? So if they're speaking out of both sides of their mouths, to be quite frank, then obviously everything now becomes questionable. So in this regard, right, Bloomberg, this is Bloomberg being reported by Bloomberg News, um, January 4th. So this just happened. These banking institutions are currently under consideration to serve as authorized participants, enterprises endowed with the power to generate and redeem shares of spot Bitcoin ETFs, as disclosed by anonymous source familiar with the discussions between three firms here in particular that were being discussed. Now, again, what I'm really focusing in on here is a couple of things. Number one, if you're not involved in decentralized finance, you are really segregating yourself to obliviousness and destruction, because again, whether you do anything or not at this point, powers are going to make sure that you are using decentralized, or I'm sorry, you're using digital economics. Now, the question is, what kind of digital economics will you be using? That's going to be the question. What kind of digital economics will you be using? Will you be using decentralized digital economics? And even if in some ways, shapes, and forms, we're all kind of forced to use the centralized nonsense and madness because it's just there and we have to do it and interact with it for certain reasons. Okay, but you still want to maintain some sense of power and prowess and, anonymity and control and freedom, right? This is what the most high, right? The power that had created life gave us the blessing of choice We are not meant to be controlled in such a way as maybe, we manage animals. You know, you that's not the way that human beings are supposed to be managed. We are of the Most High. The spirit of the Most High is in us. We are not to be herded off into pens and etc. But there are some certainly in these global dynamics that see human beings as nothing more than animals to be herded off in pens and done with as they choose. This is the environment, family, that we are living in today. And many, many things are happening under the cover of darkness, so to speak, meaning that they're not being reported on. Much is taking place that's not being reported on. Now, although we're focusing in certain aspects here, I want us to understand the dynamics that are taking place in terms of these power dynamics that involve our money. Remember, currency, money, these sort of things, just like your blood, are a source of life, right? We need certain things in order for us to live. And so there are power struggles ongoing as they have, as they always have been. But now they've become more intense because of the use of technologies. Again, we are blessed though with the technology of blockchain, which itself is made for us, you and I, the people. Now, as we are reflecting and looking into these activities and these things that are going on across the planet, as I keep saying, and I say it again for emphasis right now, if you do nothing at all, you will be affected. Absolutely. Sooner or later, you're going to run into some aspect of digital control by bodies of centralized force and power that intend on controlling the masses of people to such an extent that we will not be able to do, if it seems to be their wish and desire, that we won't be able to do anything without their permission, right? So right now, as been reported, the Bank of Spain selects partners for CBDC testing. Now, if you've been following us, you understand that CBDC, central bank digital currency, is the anti. It is the anti decentralized reality. In fact, it is so anti decentralized that although it is digital, although it uses something like a blockchain, it is not something I'm saying that we would want to be involved in unless we absolutely just have to for some or whatever reasons, because those who are producing central bank digital currencies, in particular, central banks and governments, are the ones behind this, and even some of your major corporations. Again, if you've been following us, then you know that major corporations like Microsoft and others are also involved in invested in ways and forms into the development of these central bank digital currencies. We have to start questioning why this is and what are these players doing and what is the outcome. And guess what? We don't have to really guess because they've been publishing papers to tell us what this is all about. They've literally been making statements, as the president of the Central Bank of the European Union once indicated directly, that they want to control all the money, period, right? So CBDCs are about control of your money, control of your life. That's what this is about. Again, if you do nothing, you will still end up doing something, but it'll be directed by some forces and powers and not yourself. Your choice will may or certainly be reduced, if not gone, if we do not act fairly swiftly. And so we're highlighting this and we'll continue to highlight stories like this because, again, we want you to get the global impact, the global reality, that what we're saying here is not speculation. We're not telling you get involved in decentralized finance just because, even just because of the impact of wealth and economics that it could have on your life, which within itself should be enough. But no, not just because of that, but because now what is happening is we're seeing the line drawn in the sand. We're seeing the line drawn in the sand between the people and the elites and governments, right? So I'm saying governments because now, there's some good governments who are actually the people are forcing these governments to do certain things to protect the people, right? Like we see certain governments enshrining into their constitutions that the people will always have access to physical cash, right? We see these things being enshrined in the constitutions of certain governments, but at the same time, let us understand that there is literally a global push, and a literal arm twisting going on where forces and entities and powers are even attempting to make such governments who want the best for their people, they're attempting to make them bow down and to fall in line with the agenda of this uh, digitalization of control, right? So these forces and powers are taking place. We want you to be tuned in and to understand the implications, as this will and is already affecting all of us. Now, going even further, right? Because there's being pushback. I wanted to show both sides of the coin a little bit. There here in the US, as there is this massive push now by huge corporations who are ultra wealthy. These corporations are bigger than governments of nation states in terms of the amount of cash and capital that they have within themselves. Many of them are that powerful and that strong. Many of them have that kind of capacity and ability. And so, what we're seeing now, though, is some pushback from some other entities who are, really saying we're not really sure about this. We don't really know if this is a good idea, right? So there is some pushback, for example, in terms of this whole ETF proposition. And I want to say that there's pushback and caution, at least by various players in the game, because what we do know is that corporations like BlackRock and others have been accused or have been stated to be manipulators, even in the centralized world of stock, right? And so there's some questions, there's some concern as to what this will look like. But what we see here is, again, this was made for you and I. This, meaning decentralized finance, was made for you and I, the people, and now the big money wants to get in. And so there are forces then that don't want decentralized finance to have a position or even look like, if you will, that is kind of mainstream. Because the fear might be that if something like Bitcoin becomes, common to us, we become more comfortable with it. Like today, still across the whole globe, you might have, I don't know, 20% maximum or something in that ballpark of people who are actually engaged across the globe of all the human beings on the planet. That's not that big. Imagine now if this becomes, just like turning on your TV. It's just something you're involved with every day. You see it. That's where this is going. So there's certainly forces that don't want to see that take place, because that too potentially erodes the power of centralized forces like banks. Right? If you and I can control our own money, we have our own wallets, we become our own banks to some degree, then that sort of erodes the power of these centralized forces such as big banks, right? Because we're no longer be beholden to them. We don't have to bow down. We don't have to go. We have choices and options. That's what starts to happen. Now they have to begin to do things to get out business. They have to work a little harder because we have choices and options. This is good. Choices and options are always good for people. The more choices and options we have, the better. So I want to, this is very important, family, as we focus in on these things. Again, make sure you continue to share this information. Get this information out to your friends and family, because it is of great importance. It is going to affect us in one way or the other. And so I want to close out today with this. This is the new world that we're looking at. We're seeing the forging of this world, and we're seeing the dynamics of interplay, and as it's manifesting right before us. And as I just indicated, there seems to be a line in the sand now being drawn. We have on one side elites and governments. And when I say elites, again, we're using generalized terms because we know that they're billionaires and, people of that nature who actually care about people, literally, like they're actually doing good things. So this is not to lump all of anything into one bucket. But again, we're looking at generalized things in terms of what we see on the massive scales. So we see worldwide organizations like the worldwide organizations like the World Bank, the IMF, the WTF, and others, elite organizations who are setting out policy. And some now understand that they haven't been elected to do anything. Nobody, you and I did not vote for these people. We didn't put them in any office of power. We never said we even wanted them to be in power. Somebody else put them in power. And in some cases, they are now making determinations over our very lives. They're setting policy. They're putting policy to the effect so strongly, even the UN, right? To such a degree where they're arm twisting other nation states who might want to be more liberal or might have policies and regulations and laws that tend to favor what their people want, right? Which is should be their right to govern according to what their people want. But there are these organizations and these governmental institutions that are arm twisting others. And so on that one side of the line, what we're going to see rolled out, and it's already been rolling out, but we're going to visually see it now more and more because, again, some of this has been going on in the shadows. We're going to see controlled finances, attempts to control our money more and more. Going to talk a little bit about that next week. You definitely want to tune in. I'm going to share some of the realities of the technologies that are now being used to herd people, to control human beings. Big brother watching you, that's on that side, under elites in government. Every movement we make, everything we do, they want, even here, social media. There are nation states that want to control your social media to the extent that if you don't give them access to everything, they don't want you to eat. Yeah, this is really manifesting. No real freedom. CBDCs as a currency, control. They can turn it off when they want. They can turn it on when they want. They can determine what you buy for yourself. That's under that mind control. Yeah, they control the narratives. But the blockchain, guess what? It offers us social media that they don't control. It offers us the possibility to get narratives and information that is not controlled. Let me get over there to that side in just a second. Controlled life. So if you stay under that umbrella, if you do nothing, your life will be controlled. Ultimately, you will be ultimately controlled. But on this side, where the people are, we have the opportunity to harness our power as human beings, as sapient beings, the power in which the Most High has given us. We have the capacity to harness that power, self-custody, self-financial control. This is what decentralized finance and the blockchain gives us. Real freedom, financial power and financial freedom, and choice, self-choice, not dictated choice, self-choices. Family, definitely contact us at www.customer service customer service at TieSetiInc.com. Customer service at TieSetiInc.com. Reach out to us. Get your consultation. Build up your bags, as we say in DeFi. Build up your bags. Build up your wealth. Build up your mind. Build up your spirit and prepare yourself as the line in the sand has been drawn. The line in the sand has been drawn, and you and I will be pushed in one side or the other. Learn, 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 learn. Enrich yourself, empower yourself. Now is the time. Again, we thank you. We appreciate you. Please like, share, get this information out to the masses. We are here to serve. We are here to make as many people as wealthy as possible using this God-given gift, this gift of power and resources in the blockchain. It is here for us, you and I, and we intend to help as many people as possible use it. We thank you so much. Join us again next week. Seti Saturdays, Seti Saturdays. Peace and power.